was late. Oh, he beat you. Point 262. I quit.
No, you can't quit.
The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can...
Training camp happens. If he's locked in and he's looking to make a show and try and knock this guy out, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just gonna knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing.
If Jake knocks out Tank, y'all gonna say it's fake. If he goes the distance, y'all gonna call it fake. The only thing that y'all will call real is if Tank knocks out Jake. That's why Tank.
Boxing professionals are weighing in on the highly anticipated showdown between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis. First up, legendary trainer Abel Sanchez shared his deep admiration for Tank, calling him one of his favorite fighters. Sanchez explained that Davis's unique fighting style was forged through years of battling bigger opponents, not just in the gym, but even on the streets. He highlighted Tank's natural ability to slip under punches and counter with devastating power, skills that were sharpened from constantly facing larger foes since childhood. According to Sanchez, that lifelong experience has made Davis a master at neutralizing size disadvantages. In the end, Sanchez was clear. With Tank's skill set and experience, Jake Paul doesn't pose a serious threat inside the ring.
Tank Davis fights the way he fights. Understand that Tank Davis fights, he's probably one of my favorite fighters. I think I've said that many a times. He fights in a manner where he's fought all those big guys. Look at the way he throws his punches. Look at how he ducks down like if he's fighting a real big guy. Look at the way he fought when he knocked out Garcia. Look at where he puts his head and how he throws his punches. In the street, that's who he was fighting. He was fighting bigger guys than him. He was always a smaller guy. So he knows how to fight those big guys. He knows how to duck up underneath and throw those looping shots because that's who he fought in the street. At least that's my opinion anyway. He's always been the little guy, and I'm sure that in the streets he wasn't a choir boy. I'm sure that he had his moments, and everybody was bigger than him. So he knows how to take care of himself. I don't think Jake Paul is a threat to him.
Moving forward, veteran analyst Teddy Atlas focused on one key element: the massive size gap between Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul. Atlas emphasized that the difference isn't just physical, it's also in talent and experience. Acknowledged that smaller fighters can sometimes overcome larger ones, citing Terence Crawford's historic victory over Canelo Alvarez as an example. However, Atlas noted that this matchup is an entirely different story. In his view, the physical disparity between Davis and Paul is too extreme to ignore, making it the most defining factor in this fight. His analysis serves as a reminder that boxing is a complex balance of size, skill, and strategy. And sometimes, even elite technique can't fully erase the weight of physics.
Yeah, is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but a little different. The size difference was, it was eye-catching.
On Atlas's observations, Coach Calvin Ford openly acknowledged the weight difference as one of the biggest challenges Gervonta Davis would face. Still, Ford's faith in his fighter remained unshaken. He emphasized that Davis's explosive power is the ultimate equalizer. A single clean shot from Tank could completely change the fight's direction and leave Jake Paul stunned. Ford highlighted the importance of staying composed, sticking to the game plan, and executing with precision. While he admitted that the size disadvantage is real, Ford made it clear that discipline, strategy, and Tank's devastating power are more than enough to overcome it. His words reflect the unwavering belief and determination within Davis's camp as they prepare to face a physically imposing opponent.
Difference is very big, 135 to a heavyweight. How does Tank adapt to that weight?
You gotta figure it out, man. That's why I'm so babbling right now, you know, because this is a hard, this is a tall glass of water we gotta drink. But I believe in my youngin', always believe in all my youngins, you know what I'm saying? But him, he's our forefront youngin', you know what I'm saying? It gives everybody else hope, you know what I'm saying? That it ain't nothing that you can't do if you don't put your mind to it.
Absolutely. You think Jake is going to be surprised when he feels that punching power from Tank Davis from a smaller man and hit like a heavyweight?
Because everybody talking about it's scripted, it's this, it's that. I said, Tank hit him with some shit. The man gonna come out of him. Get what I'm saying? And I know how that is. He hit me with some shit. I'm gonna hit you with some shit. Get what I'm saying? So, you know, that weight class and Tank's weight class, you have to be concerned about that. So we got to be laser focused and just do what we do.
Furthermore, Michael Jai White offered his perspective on Gervonta Davis, emphasizing how years of sparring with much heavier opponents have sharpened Tank's skill set. White pointed out that Davis's explosive uppercut remains one of his most lethal weapons, a shot capable of instantly changing the course of any fight. When asked who he'd bet on, White didn't hesitate. He confidently sided with Davis, crediting his attention to detail, ring intelligence, and youthful explosiveness as key advantages. In White's view, those qualities more than make up for any size or weight deficit. Ultimately, he described Gervonta Davis as a rare blend of precision, power, and adaptability, making him an incredibly dangerous opponent for anyone, even a much larger fighter like Jake Paul.
I believe he spars people that are much heavier than him. And, man, that uppercut, yeah.
Well, who do you got?
I would have to bet on Gervonta, because for all the little things, all that, and the fact that he's not old. Yeah. I think he makes up for it.
Moreover, Chris Algieri weighed in on the matchup, noting that Gervonta Tank Davis appears more focused and disciplined than ever before. In the past, Algieri explained, Davis wasn't always in peak shape year-round, but this time, he's showing a new level of dedication and consistency. Algieri pointed out that while Davis might not always look in top condition at public appearances, that doesn't tell the full story. What truly matters, he said, is Tank's mindset and conditioning once training camp begins. If Davis remains locked in and motivated, especially with the goal of delivering a knockout against Jake Paul, Algieri believes fans are in for an explosive and unforgettable fight.
In terms of his training, I'm not sure, and I can't really guess. In recent years, he's shown himself to be dedicated and stayed in shape between fights in most recent years. You know, prior to that, not so much. You would see him balloon up in between fights. That hasn't been the case the last couple of years. You've seen him train year round. You've seen him come into camp in very good condition. Some of those press conferences, he didn't look that conditioned, Gervonta. So you do see him peeling back in terms of some of that discipline. But, you know, training camp happens. You know, if he's locked in and he's looking to make a show and try and knock this guy out.
In a potential matchup scenario, Devin Haney made his stance clear. He's simply not interested. When asked about facing Gervonta Davis, Haney dismissed the idea outright, calling it not a real fight. Even as the interviewer emphasized Davis's skill and pedigree, Haney showed no desire to entertain the discussion. Instead, he ended the exchange abruptly with a firm no comment before walking away. His reaction spoke volumes, a mix of disinterest and perhaps quiet avoidance, underscoring that, for now, Haney sees no reason to step into the ring with Tank Davis.
Paul, Tank, how you see that fight going?
Man, that's not a real fight. I like Jake.
Is Tank?
It's not a real fight.
It's not a fight. Does Tank have a chance? He's so much smaller. He's a real boxer, but he's so much smaller.
Recently, Nate Diaz shared his thoughts on a potential showdown between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. While Diaz praised Davis as a great boxer with elite skills, he didn't hold back on the obvious concern: Tank is simply too small for this matchup. Diaz explained that he personally wouldn't take a fight against someone that much smaller, saying there's no real point in it. Still, despite acknowledging the size gap, Nate admitted that the bout would be a massive spectacle, the kind of fight fans would be excited to see unfold. In true Diaz fashion, he refused to pick a side. saying he'd rather just watch and see what happens when two very different worlds collide.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think. My thoughts on it is let's.
From Jeff Mayweather's perspective, this potential fight is nothing short of strange. He pointed out the massive size gap between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, saying it makes the matchup hard to understand. Jeff explained that if it's an exhibition, then it makes some sense. Two big names coming together for entertainment value. But if it's meant to be a real competitive fight, he finds the idea unrealistic. After all, Jake Paul would likely come in well over 200 pounds, while Tank Davis would be somewhere around 147 to 150. That kind of size difference, Jeff said, is exactly why the matchup just doesn't make sense from a boxing standpoint.
Extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being exhibition, makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand.
Similarly, Mike Perry also voiced his confusion about this potential matchup. He acknowledged that while Jake Paul holds a major size advantage, Gervonta Davis clearly has the superior boxing skill. However, Perry raised concerns about Davis's recent performances, pointing to his draw with Lamont Roach as evidence that Tank might not be the same explosive fighter he once was. More importantly, Perry questioned Davis's motivation, wondering whether he still carries the same hunger and passion that once drove him to dominate. In Perry's view, that uncertainty could be a decisive factor in determining the outcome of this fight.
Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80.
According to Kermel Moton, the upcoming clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis would be nothing short of highly entertaining. Moton sees Davis holding a clear advantage, crediting his elite boxing IQ, refined skill set, and true fighter's mentality. He dismissed concerns about the weight difference, explaining that he has personally witnessed Davis spar and perform impressively against much heavier opponents. For Moton, size isn't always the deciding factor, not when you're dealing with an exceptional fighter like Tank. In the end, Moton viewed the matchup as not only an exciting contest, but also a massive payday for both men involved.